This just push it to flops around. Yeah. We ready? Oh, I'm looking at that. Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I want to officially call to order the June 10, 2024 Harpers Ferry Town Council meeting to order. We have a quorum present. All members are present with the exception of Roberta. Will you stand in honor of this great country? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Approval agenda. I want to make a recommendation, council, that we move item 5A, Roman numeral 4. That's 5A, Roman numeral 4, to follow 7A, because that may require executive session. So I am opting to recommend that we place that at the end of the agenda. Storm?
Though I'd like to move 7A to be part of community announcements. That's the farmers market update. Which is currently at the end, and we have the folks here making that update.
Okay, so 5A, Roman numeral 4, is not going to follow 7A. But we'll figure that out when we get there. Are there any other suggested changes?
I move to accept the agenda as amended.
So just to clarify, so 7A, we've moved up. What was the other one?
Yeah, and
We want
5A,
5A.
Roman numeral 4, Nina, we'll put that at the end of our agenda.
put that after 6C. I'll second.
Okay.
That's a motion. I'll second.
I had one other to move 5A 19 to follow 5A 16. These relate to the waterworks, so that needs to be covered before we can do the general fund.
Okay, so 5A 19 will follow or precede? Follow 5A 16.
I'll second.
Okay, so let me, is there any others before I call for a motion? Let me say what I think we've done. We're going to do 5A, Roman numeral 4 will be at the end. 7A will move to community announcements, so therefore we will not have a 7A. We will then move 5A 19 to follow 5A 16. Okay, now I'll go for.
I just have one more.
Sure.
For the floor. Do we want to move 5I 1 and 2 to before? Since there's been discussion on the table. That's listed as discussion under Internal Operations Committee, but then it's also discussion action under budget and finance. Do we want to move that discussion ahead so it can happen before we act?
Well, I think they could be concurrent.
Yeah, they'll be fine in its current order.
Okay, all right, now I'll ask for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve agenda as amended.
All right, second, and we have a second from George. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion? Raise your hand. Okay, thank you. Public comment, Nina?
Our first, member is Eddie Love.
We were trying to do exactly what you just did.
Okay. And then, Mark Pfeiffer? Okay, all right, well then we have no other public comment.
Okay, mayor's announcements. I have, 5 or so. This afternoon, several of us, town employees attended the memorial service for Chris Spanos. We extended our condolences to the family. Those of you in the audience that may not know, a tragic accident occurred 2 weeks ago that took the life of Chris Spanos. Chris was one of our Class 2 water operators because our water plant requires a Class 2 operator. And so that left us with one Class 2 operator. And thank goodness we have a contractor in Tom Hall. Tom Hall, who's filling in, has stepped up, and I don't know if anybody else is going to address this, but IOC and Nina, the IOC group, are in the process of looking for ways to fill that and recruit a Class 2. And I will tell you that some of us know that a Class 2 water operator in the state of West Virginia is one of the most difficult things to fill because there are so few of them and so many Class 2 water plants. So Nina's got her hands full with the recruiting process, trying to resolve that issue. We will definitely miss, and I know I will personally, Chris Spanos. Secondly, I recently, last week, had to invoke an emergency authorization to expend $6,800 for a very significant water leak on Michael Place. So we, our contractor came in, Greenridge, and fulfilled that responsibility. We were estimating somewhere, Steve here, yeah. What was the estimate, Steve, per day on that? Yeah, so 60,000 gallons a day. So I felt it was imperative, instead of trying to get a town council meeting together real quick to approve the action, I used my emergency authority on that. Another piece of bad news, if you're not aware, we had a very unfortunate death that occurred a week, not quite a week ago. As you face the ATC on that sidewalk, if you just turn left and walk up the sidewalk about 10 feet, a trail hiker collapsed and was found by a resident, was called in. We had Harpers Ferry Police, Steve Corbin, Harpers Ferry Police, Daniel Ruffner, and we also had NPS, and I'm not sure who the LE Ranger was that responded. Very heroic efforts on the part of Harpers Ferry and the Park Service administering CPR and invoking the AED. As I understand it, the individual also, when rescue arrived, advanced rescue team from Charlestown came, and they also administered CPR on the way to the hospital, but he did not survive. And Steve Corbin had to do one of the unfortunate tasks of notifications of next of kin. So I want to thank the superintendent and commend the Ellie, Tanya. I don't know who it was, but okay, please extend my thanks for a valiant effort. And Chief, thank you for, with your staff, and I've already written our guys a personal note from me. So unfortunately, it did not work out. I do want to thank publicly Patty for the music event on Saturday. For those of you that may have never had the opportunity to try and put an event together, I know Storm does it regularly. I mean, there are so many areas of coordination that you have to do. I mean, everything from coordinating the use of Tanya's grass to getting all kinds of equipment in and calling up the bands, setting up tables and getting Larry out there. And there was an awful lot of things. But the worst part of it was at the 11th hour, I guess on Friday afternoon, I forget, or Thursday evening, one band had to cancel. So there, Patty and Zach were scrambling around getting a fill-in band. But it was a huge success, Patty. And Zach, thank you also for manning the booth and being in charge of the money up there. It gets bigger and better every year. So I just want to, those of you that missed it, missed a real treat. So it was well done, Patty and Zach. And then finally, I have a special welcome back to the superintendent and Tanya. It's really an honor to have you come back to Harpers Ferry. You made your mark here for several months. You planted your flag, and now you are raising that flag. And when you left here, I said to you, I said, Tanya, you're going to play? I think I'll stay down in Washington. Yeah, well, that didn't last too long, but she is here. She is already making an impact, and I expressed my personal feelings to her Saturday about that impact that I've seen personally, and maybe some of you others in here have seen. Rangers and contract personnel for the Park Service scurrying around and doing their thing. Yeah, right. So Tanya, welcome back. And I really look forward to working with you. And Tanya and I will have our first meeting. Superintendent and I will have our first meeting on Thursday morning at 9 o'clock. So I'm looking forward to that. Nina?
Mr. Mayor,
I'm sorry.
just to, sorry to jump out of order here, but I'm just aware that there's somebody here who may have wanted to make a public comment and did not perhaps sign up. Is it too late for a public comment?
It is too late. Sorry. If that individual who wants to make a public comment can either contact me or you, whatever, and we'll try to resolve whatever the issue is.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
I just hesitate to do that, George. We set precedent, and it just.
I get it. It's an oversight. I didn't see
That's
back to it.
Nina, I'm sorry.
So I have two updates. One is regarding the opioid funding. I met a few weeks ago with the Boys and Girls Club of Upstate County regarding some of the programs that they have, including their after-school summer program, and then also a summer, or I guess year-round camp that they have specifically for children whose family members suffer from opioid addiction. And they are always looking for funding opportunities for those programs. So talking with them about potentially creating a scholarship with some of our funding that we've received. And so Deb and I are working on figuring out the logistics of that to make sure that that falls underneath the umbrella. And speaking with Region 9 regarding the opioid funds that we have received, and if that's a use that we can use them for. So there'll probably be an update next month on that, but we are, I'm pushing towards trying to create some sort of program in collaboration with the Boys and Girls Club for some of our funds. Also currently working on, there is a grant that the application is due at the end of August through archive.gov for archiving historical records. I'm working on creating a application for that grant so that we can digitize all of the wonderful records for the last 100+ years that are in my office. And that includes digital, so they'd be scanning all create PDFs of all the paper records, but also be able to create audio files from set tapes, VHS tapes, everything that we have that is currently in there, we'll be able to create a digital record for. So I've been speaking with a few different companies from the area that do these kinds of projects to sort of understand the scope of the project, but I'll be providing more updates as I'm going through with that. But that is a big undertaking, but I think it would be super beneficial for all of us to be able to access those records from an easily searchable database. So and those are my 2 updates.
Thank you. Laurel? Okay. National Park Service Superintendent, do you have any comments, or Andrew?
Sure. I'll use my interpreter voice. Mr. Mayor and members of council, it's lovely to be back. Thank you so much for that very warm welcome. I am Tanya Gossett. I am the new superintendent at Harpers Ferry National Historical Park. And I will be with you as often as I can be for these updates. And I take the opportunity to take any questions if that's something that you have time for. I will provide a few updates about what's going on in the park. And then if you have any questions for me, please let me know. First, a couple project updates. I have been alerted to the fact that the curbs down on High Street and Shenandoah Street need repair. The mayor and I have talked about it a couple times already, and our facility teams are working together to get this solved soon. The HVAC replacement down in buildings 43 through 45, my understanding is there was some concern in the community about the public bathrooms being closed for that project, which will start in August. Our understanding from our contractors is that will not be the case. The bathrooms will not need to be closed, with the possible exception of just here or there, maybe a couple hours where the contractors have to go in and connect different systems up. So generally, though, we do not expect the public bathrooms to be closed during the project. Significantly, in November of 2024, Byron Bridge pedestrian bridge will be closed. Through our agreement with the Eastern Panhandle Transportation Authority, Harpers Ferry National Historical Park will provide shuttle bus service between the Park Visitor Center and Maryland Heights during the pedestrian bridge closure. We'll be providing advanced notification through our partners and to the community, to the hikers on the Appalachian Trail, to our park visitors about the closure. And we will continue to notify folks, and we have an entire communication plan in the works for dealing with this closure. We do not know how long it will be. All of the best laid plans, we can say 4 months, but I've been in the Park Service a long time, folks, and I've rarely seen projects coming on time. So we'll see how it goes. But we are working with our with the C&O Canal, who is the lead on this project, the Appalachian Trail, and the ATC, and of course the community as well, as I know is aware of this project. But I do want to bring it up. I do expect it to cause some disruption in Lower Town that may affect business downtown. So just keep that in mind, and we will try to keep everybody as up to date on what we know about the project as we can.
This is the ramp upgrade.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay, those are the sort of project updates. We do have a number of programs coming up that I'd just like to call everybody's attention to. I know that you are familiar with a lot of the programs that we do in the park, but there's just a couple sort of exciting ones coming up. One very, very soon for Juneteenth. It will not be on the 19th, it will be on the 22nd. It's called the Path to Freedom. You can join a ranger for a 1-hour tour about the inspiring stories of enslaved Americans who went to Harpers Ferry and their resistance and perseverance until they gained their freedom. And then on July 14th, we are going to commemorate the 128th anniversary of the National League of Colored Women's pilgrimage to the John Brown Fort at Murphy Farm. You can meet a ranger there at, as I said, July 14th at 11 o'clock for a 1-mile hike and personal program. On August 11th, I know you all are aware, the Appalachian Chamber Music Festival will be back at the Mather Lawn. Looking forward to that. And later in August, the 24th and 25th, we have a weekend program with a number of reenactment companies that are going to reenact the Harper's Ferry Minuteman will, who when the city of Washington was under siege and under attack by British forces during the War of 1812, the civilians of Harper's Ferry, armory workers, and those from Charlestown got together, armed themselves, got on flatboats, and worked their way down to the capital city to help defend Washington, D.C. And so the entire program is around that history. Those are some of the big programs we're doing. We, of course, encourage you to go to our website and look at things to do in the calendar to see everything that we have to offer this summer. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Chris?
Some of us are very excited to hear that news about the ramp. We've been working on that a long time. I was wondering if the buses, EPTC, will they be having bike racks on the buses?
Yes, we've had a lot of conversations about bike racks. I think the question is, will there be enough buses for enough bikes? And we're even looking at allowing bikes to come on the buses during that time so that you get a few extra bikes on.
Have you looked into catapults?
Zip lines.
Zip lines.
Any other, go ahead, Zach.
A comment, since Parks and Rec isn't on the agenda, I just want to extend thanks on behalf of Parks and Rec for letting us use the Mather Lawn for music on the range. And it was a great event. Thank you for coming as well.
I enjoyed it very much. So
Thank you.
let us know if you need to do that again and get those guys back.
Anything else for the superintendent? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
By the way, Superintendent, I know the last time you were in here, that was that ungodly meeting of 3 hours, and you deserve a award because I believe you sat through it. But we do not expect you, so you will not offend this table if at any time you feel like getting up and leaving.
But I am interested in what you all do. So,
Okay.
Hope you like finance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other announcements, Chris, you have announcement on the Pride.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. This month marks LGBTQ Pride Month, a commemoration and celebration of the Stonewall Rebellion, an event in Greenwich Village 55 years ago this month, when members of sexual minorities in New York City told the world they would no longer push their identities into the closet. Although laws and courts have affirmed many civil rights in decades since the 60s, some LGBTQ rights remain in a state of flux, and recent votes in the West Virginia legislature and actions taken by our own state attorney general and others make it clear that the right to affirm one's identity is not settled law in West Virginia. However, I am proud that the towns of Harpers Ferry and Bolivar have both affirmed equal rights for all their citizens, and I'm comforted to be meeting tonight in a town hall with the pride flag flying alongside the West Virginia and U.S. banners. I'd also like to remind everyone in attendance tonight and others who listen to this meeting that the towns of Harpers Ferry and Bolivar will be sponsoring an LGBTQ Pride event at 6 p.m. Tuesday, June 25th at the Barn in Harpers Ferry. After a time of socializing, there will be a panel discussion that includes local residents and organizational representatives. And for those wishing to stay, this will be followed up in true Stonewall fashion by a drag performance. The public is invited free of charge.
Thank you, Chris. The market update, who is doing that? Eddie? You got the microphone in?
Mayor and Council, thank you. Just wanted to come back again this year and let you guys know that we have now reopened the farmers market, mobile markets for the 2024 season, which we're very excited about. So the market will continue to be on Wednesday evenings from 5:30 in the evening till 7:30. We'll have a selection of local groceries, local foods for purchase. There will also be a food truck, which has been the Taste of Greece recently, great Greek food. So that'll be available Wednesday evenings, and then we've got music and like I said last time I came to present to the council, this is as much about food access and making good local groceries available in Bolivar, Harpers Ferry, where it's not available otherwise. But the second part of this is to make it a community event, to make this a place where especially locals, especially those of us who live here in Harpers Ferry and Bolivar can come together regularly, see each other, have a nice place to hang out and catch up. So we would love if you guys could help spread the word and just get more people there. This will be more of a community event, the more people that we have coming, and we've got a strong core group of loyal people who show up week in and week out, even in the middle of thunderstorms, as we saw last week. But we want to spread the word more and get more people coming. So Mark, I think, wanted to just tell a little bit more about CMI. So I'll
Sure. So, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, thanks for having me tonight. I've not yet come to address you before, so I wanted to just briefly say hello. Some of you I do know, others not as familiar with, but we'll be friends soon enough, hopefully. So just a little bit about Community Markets Inc. We've existed for the past 3 years. We're located in Charlestown. We have a 10-county footprint, and as Eddie mentioned, we exist to connect locally grown food to families in need. So everything we do is food security and local food access related, especially to underserved members of the community and families. So just a few statistics. In under 2 years, we've served over 6,600 people in providing them healthy West Virginia grown food free of charge to them through our food box giveaway program in 10 West Virginia counties. That's the Potomac Highlands, Tucker County, Randolph County, and then the far east here, as we might be known around the state. So we've served that many number of people with over 90,000 pounds of food. That's healthy, mostly West Virginia grown food, and put over $173,000 back into the local economy. So this isn't just about a fish to those in need. This is about wealth and wellness in West Virginia using the avenue and vehicle of West Virginia grown food. So how does Union Market fit in? Well, anyone who shops there, whether you're pre-ordering online with a brand new website we opened to kind of give full pre-order service, or if you just come by the night of with the 50 or so products we have, that money that we raise there goes back into supporting the mission of feeding those who might not be able to come to the market. So the very same products we're selling go into our monthly food boxes where we feed 150 to 300 families. So later this month, we're in Paw Paw, West Virginia. They have to drive an hour to get to a grocery store. Next month, we're in Charlestown again. We're there a couple times a year. And then Ranson, and then we're hoping to go to Inwood. So we're just kind of working our way around. A couple months ago, we were here in Bolivar at the community center. I know some residents of Harpers Ferry got up our way. So that just kind of gives you an idea. There's more I could blab about, but this isn't a 2-day conference that I could definitely run if I wanted to. I won't put you to sleep, but so just we have worked with Jefferson County Schools as one of our programs. We've served 536 students with food bags, not full of fruit roll-ups and granola bars, but of Bolivar bread rolls, of jam sourced from Martinsburg, honey, applesauce. You kind of get the idea. So we're doing all we can to serve children, elderly, anybody in need with food grown in West Virginia. So as Eddie said, please come to the market, please support us, please pre-order, and we hope to see you all there. So I don't know, is there time for questions or comments or
real quick, council, if you have anything. The only thing I'll say is keep bringing the ice cream.
Okay. All 18 flavors.
Yeah, we're glad you're back.
Thank you, Yes, Mark.
very glad.
Thank you, Eddie and Mark. Okay, approval of minutes. We have 2. We have a regular meeting on May 13, special meeting May 21. Nina, when you want to handle the 13 and the 21, please.
Yeah, so there was one adjustment, Mylar was spelled in the meeting minutes for the 13th, as Storm pointed out, thank you. I read through it like 5 times and missed that. So I just want to move to approve the May 13th, 2024 minutes with the correction for the spelling of Mylar.
Second on the motion to approve. We have a second from Chris. Discussion on the motion. All those in favor of the motion to approve? Unanimous.
Okay, and then, move to approve the meeting minutes for May 21st, 2024 as presented.
Is there a second to approve? George, thank you. Discussion on the motion to approve. All those in favor of the motion to approve? Unanimous. Thank you, Nina. Okay, we're going to move into the town reports and budget and finance. We have a very lengthy number of items on here to get through. I want to try to get through them as expeditiously as possible. And I understand that we do have our attorney online right now. Pam Segrist will be handling the bond ordinance that we had our first reading. And Debbie, can I turn this over to you and coordinate or Storm with Cam, whoever?
Yeah, just very briefly and in general, yeah, I'll try to move us through these quickly, but without skipping important information. So these, as second reading, these bonds are needed to help fund the match for the WDA grant water distribution improvement project. If this reading is approved, a third reading and public hearing will take place on July 8th, and we can move on from there.
Pam, can you lead us? Nina's prepared to read it by title. If you could just introduce and read what we're doing. I mean, let us know what we're doing.
Would you like to read the title, or?
No, if we just need to hop right over there, then Nina's here and Nina can do it in that order. No.
Should I start?
Go ahead, Nina.
Town of Harpers Ferry Water Revenue Bonds, CNB Bank Inc. Series 2024.
Point of order, do we need to do a motion to do this?
To do what?
We need a motion to review the reading.
No, we need the approval following the reading for the approval of it, correct? Let me defer to council.
Yeah, you're correct. This is the second reading, and traditionally we have done a reading by title only on a bond ordinance. So reading the title only is the appropriate next step, and then certainly it's up to the council whether we have discussion. And I'm here to try to answer any questions you may have about it. But to get the conversation started, so to speak, if you can read it by title only with a motion and second, then we can have discussion.
I think all correct. Okay.
Yes, yeah.
So, I'm sorry again. Town of Harpers Ferry Water Revenue Bond, CNB Bank Inc. Series 2024 Bond Ordinance. Ordinance authorizing the acquisition, construction, and equipping of certain additions, betterments, and improvements to the waterworks system of the town of Harpers Ferry, including without limitation, the upgrade and replacement of water lines and/or water meters, and the financing of the cost not otherwise provided, therefore, through the issuance by the town of Harpers Ferry of Water Revenue Bonds, Series 2024, CNB Bank Inc. in an aggregated principal amount of not to exceed $700,000, defining and prescribing the terms and provisions of the Series 2024 bonds, providing generally for the rights and remedies of and securities for the holders of the Series 2024 bonds, authorizing execution and delivery of all documents relating to the issuance of such bonds, and providing when this ordinance shall take effect.
All right. Move to approve the second reading by title only for Water Revenue Bond Series 2024.
Second on the motion to approve, second from George. Discussion on the motion to approve. All those in favor of the motion to approve, raise your hand. Unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Segrist.
Thank you, Segrist.
Is there anything further for me, Mayor? You think I need to stay on the?
I think you're good, and thank you so much for waiting us out, and thank you for your time, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you for letting me join by Zoom. Enjoy the rest of your meeting. Take care.
Yes, sir. Okay, Storm, I'm going to assume that you're going to have, do you want me to read each one, or you want to handle it yourself all the way through?
I can walk us through them.
Okay, you got it.
Discussion and action regarding town logo design services funding. Nina will speak to the particulars, but what happened was IOC met with Wicked Design the selected contractor for the town logo project. And based on that meeting, is requesting up to $1,000 for the logo project. The design firm charges by the hour, and Budget and Finance agreed that this amount should be enough to see the project through with enough cushion to allow for revisions. Nina, do you have more you'd like to add to that?
Just part of that was that we had also, in addition to the town logo, wanted to consider a style package as well, which would include fonts and colors and things like that, which would also be part of that. So that's why that request is up to $1,000.
And that's something we'll be able to use for the website in general use. I move to award the logo design services contract to Wicked Designs and to spend up to $1,000 to create a town logo and basic style guide out of 440, the City Hall contracted services.
Second on the motion, second from George. Discussion on the motion. Zach?
I just wanted to be clear, this, maybe I missed something in an earlier meeting, but the decision to go with this company was made by Budget and Finance.
No, it was by IOC.
Or, sorry, IOC.
IOC, we competed, this with, some other firms.
That's what we were-
And, on criteria that we developed, these folks seem to do that.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion to approve?
Oh, sorry, I did have one more.
Go.
This, sorry, again, for clarification, this is funding for them to produce a final design or example designs that will then be reviewed? What is the
Both those things are true.
Okay.
The whole process, the end deliverable will be, the primary is a logo in a vector format, reproducible infinitely, and then a style guide, which will have a font selection, colors, anything we would need to present ourselves in a consistent.
Okay, now, all those in favor, Richard? Unanimous. Storm?
Similar discussion and action regarding town website services funding. So IOC, this was done by IOC, met with the selected vendor, and it was a competitive process whose name is Revise, and determined that their proposed terms will accomplish the town's website design and ongoing services needs. And this includes migrating and service going forward and any customer service we need. And they require a 5-year commitment. And Budget and Finance determined that because we cannot obligate debt to future town councils, the full amount should be paid up front. And that amount is $21,300. And this is within the budgeted amount for this project. It's a complete overhaul. And they included in this is a refresh of the site after year 4. Nina,
Yeah.
do you have anything more?
So they've done multiple municipal websites, and we met with them and felt that their product would be both sort of easy for us to use, but also meet needs that have not been met in the last few years with the services provided on our website. And the process is pretty quick as well. We're looking at a 4 to 6 week turnaround once we sort of start the process with them. So we should be able to have a new website up and running fairly shortly.
Chris?
And it sounds as though staff and council members will all be able to
Yeah.
discuss with them and
Yeah,
have input on our needs. And
there also is a training program as well for how to use the sort of internal system. So we'll be able to do that with town staff so that everyone is able to access and update the website as well.
And staff will be involved
Yeah.
in the development as well.
Yeah.
Zach?
Just to note, we don't have the 2023 comprehensive plan ready yet, but reforming the website is a high priority. It's something we're working on. So thank you for taking this one head on and getting us a check mark early. I just wanted to confirm that all the information that is currently on the website will be accessible through the new website or archived in some way, so we don't lose.
That's actually a service that they do. They scrape our website and they load and organize that data on the website for us.
Gotcha.
So we don't have to do any of that lift ourselves.
Cool. I think there may also be a few, I have to go back to our minutes and notes. There might be a few specific suggestions from the comprehensive plan input process. So if there's opportunity to feed those into the process, let us
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be
send
great.
it to IOC.
Cool. Okay.
I move to award the website design and hosting contract to Revise for a 5-year term for a total one-time cost of up to $25,000 out of 440 City Hall contracted services for fiscal year 2025.
Second on the motion, second from George. Discussion on the motion. Zach,
Is there a current contract with our current website that also needs to be terminated or in conjunction with this? Okay.
we have a month to month.
Yeah,
There's.
Yeah.
It won't be terribly involved.
Okay.
Yeah.
We will have two
It
websites.
won't
No.
be very involved. Yeah, we'll be able to discontinue it.
Other discussion.
It won't be.
All those in favor of the motion? Unanimous.
Discussion and action regarding town and waterworks computer network and system upgrades.
We're maybe not.
That's when we're delaying.
That, we're not covering that today.
No, you're covering at the end.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, discussion and action regarding waterworks and town paving contract. So this is the annual paving contract where one contractor is selected to deploy in July, optimally July, to take care of all the paving specified by the town. The Public Works Administrator has reviewed the needs for the waterworks, and the scope is expected to be similar to last year's. And the Planning Commission provided the list to the Public Works Administrator. However, Budget and Finance thought it might be good, since it was done several months ago, just to review it as conditions may have changed. And once the Public Works Administrator has a complete list, a bid needs to go out in order to contract the work. And the cost will be known at that time, and the work can be awarded by Town Council. So I move to authorize the Public Works Administrator to solicit bids for the annual waterworks and town paving contract in coordination with the Planning Commission.
I'll second.
Okay, discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion? Unanimous.
Discussion and action regarding funding for June 2024 Pride event for the towns of Harpers Ferry and Bolivar. And this is, I'll turn this over to Chris, but at the last meeting, Town Council had agreed to be listed as a sponsor for this event. And a request was made for $300. Do you have anything to add, Chris?
Not really. It's for general use, some of the supplies and decorations for the event, and some miscellaneous funds because we're not quite sure we're going to have all of the sound equipment that we need. So we are requesting a match of Bolivar's contribution to the event, which was $300.
And this and the conduit for this payment will be the Harpers Ferry Bolivar Historic Town Foundation.
Yes, that's right.
I move to reimburse up to $300 to the Harpers Ferry Bolivar Historic Town Foundation out of 402 Economic Development for the June 2024 LGBTQI event.
Second on the motion, second from Zach. Discussion on the motion, George.
Question, this will be held in a barn?
Mm-hmm.
Will alcohol be served as part of this event?
After the panel, or as an optional, for the option for people who choose to stay for that.
Well, so let me just say, as part of the Harpers Ferry sponsored event, within that event, will alcohol be served?
I'd say after the closing of the event, because the panel is sort of the end of the event. There's the four
Well-
activities panel, and then
I'm being very specific because I want to know if we're devoting town funds to the sponsorship of an event in which alcohol is served.
If the council has a problem with that, that was discussed at the committee forming the event, and we did decide to delay it. But if there's a
To delay what?
to delay the alcohol to the later part as an option for those who want to stay. Now, if there's a major concern with that, you know, we could be prepared to not have the alcohol at all. But there are some issues with the barn, not financially, but in their advertising, we are expecting some of their regular customers to come into the event and maybe expecting.
And they might be expecting alcohol because of the nature of the location. I have a concern. And since you have discussed it already, do you have some amendment that you could make to this that would assuage that would extricate the town from involvement in either eliminate the alcohol from the event entirely, or extricate the town's involvement from that portion of the event that involves alcohol. I think this is important as a precedent, and also, yeah, I think it's important as a precedent.
George, I'm not quite following what your primary concern is. Is your primary concern, the town allocating $300? What, is it more of an appearance factor?
Appearance?
What's the nature of the concern?
Yeah, what is your concern? I'm not
I-
following.
Don't want to vote for the town of Harper's Ferry to sponsor an event in which alcohol is served. I don't, and it's not appearance. It's not a matter of scenes. It is. It's a state. I mean, I can state the nature of some of my objections, but it becomes, I'm bringing part of my personal history into this with my students, some of whom are LGBT communities kids who are heavily damaged from alcoholic parents. I've had 12 of them visit the last year. And I just have I think it's not a healthy thing.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
And it's not a misunderstanding that the town would not be paying for the alcohol, correct?
I'm not even concerned with that. I would have a problem with that. But it's just, I think it would be healthy to steer clear of the sponsorship of alcohol-involved events.
Okay. Any other?
Does the majority of the council?
And I like the events. I like the sponsorship. I would offer to you, that if you could come up with a wording right now that we could allow us to move forward, merely terminate the town's sponsorship at the point in the event when alcohol is served. That would help me.
Storm, let me hear from you.
Yeah, I certainly understand personal preferences. Personally, it does not make me uncomfortable, and we'll vote on it. But I am in support of it. Yes.
Support of what?
Of this event, as it is.
Sure. Oh, as it is.
Okay, so we do not have a motion on the floor, do we, Nina? I
No.
lost track, okay.
I move to reimburse up to $300. No, I think I thought I did.
Oh, you
You do have it.
Yep, and Zach was a second.
I make a motion to amend.
Okay, state your amendment, George.
I move that the town's that we add to the end of the motion that the town's sponsorship of the event ends upon the serving of alcohol at this event.
There's a second on the amendment. Hearing none, the amendment fails. We have the main motion on the floor. We have a second. All those in favor of any other further discussion on the main motion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion, raise your hand. Opposed? Okay, 5-1.
Discussion and action regarding fiscal year 2024 EPTA funding. This is annual support we have given annually to the Eastern Panhandle Transit Authority, which includes regular service and special services, which includes for people with medical and special needs. These amounts are as previously approved by this town council. I move to disperse to the EPTA $3,000 from 402 Economic Development and $4,500 from 759 Public Transportation for fiscal year 2024.
Second on the motion, second from Chris. Discussion on the motion. All those in favor of the motion? Unanimous.
Discussion and action regarding fiscal year 24 fire department funding. This is the annual support for the Friendship Fire Company, which acts as the town's fire department. I move to distribute $1,350 for fiscal year 2024 coal severance and $3,000 from fiscal year 24 706 fire department from the general fund to the Friendship Fire Company.
Second on the motion, second from Nina. Discussion on the motion to approve. Zach.
I support this in general. It's just this is something that came up in our comprehensive plan discussions. We have regular reports at town council meetings from the police department. I was curious if this funding means we should get maybe quarterly or annual reports from the fire department as well. or if this, I don't know if we should make it funding contingent on those reports, but if there's an interest, at least from the planning commission, that you members of the community to hear from the fire company at some point. So, and this is the first time it's come up.
Yeah, I think it would be good for the community to hear about what the fire department is
I
doing.
will reach out to the chief personally.
Oh, I think there's a motion in a
Yes,
second.
there is a motion and a second. Any other discussion, Chris?
I might respond, Zach, I believe that, and I'm not entirely sure of this, but I think all of the fire companies are presently reporting to the county, and it may be just be a matter of getting the right report to us. So, yeah, we should investigate that.
Sure. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion? Unanimous.
Discussion and action regarding JCPRC 4th of July funding. This is for the Jefferson County Parks and Recreation Commission.
The 4th of July thing.
Oh, whoa, wow, okay. Sorry, Dan.
Yeah, quiet house.
Discussion and action regarding 4th of July band funding. Too many 4th of July events. There can never be too many. This is a payment to the band that plays during the town's Independence Day gathering at Gazebo Park. I move to disperse $300 to the band for the 4th of July band, 4th of July event out of 906 Arts and Humanities.
Second on the motion, second from Zach. Discussion on the motion. All those in favor of the motion? Unanimous.
Discussion and action regarding JCPRC 4th of July funding. This is for the Jefferson County Parks and Recreation Commission's 4th of July event, for which the town will be listed as a sponsor. Now it matches what this town council previously approved. I move to disperse $500 to the JCPRC for the county 4th of July event out of Board 2 Economic Development upon receipt of paid invoices.
Second on the motion, second from Zach. Discussion on the motion. Zach,
Do we have specifics on what that gets spent on? Is that for fireworks, for parade?
It helps to pay for the fireworks.
And those are at San Michael's Park?
any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion? Unanimous.
We are not ready for discussion and action regarding fiscal year 24 library funding. Hope to have that on Wednesday. Documentation. On to discussion and action regarding employee pay scale and COLA adjustments. So, town council over the past couple of cycles has given all town employees an annual cost of living adjustment. Without this COLA, employee wages don't keep up with the cost of everyday expenses. And each year it's up to the current town council to decide whether to do a COLA and how much. Budget and Finance is recommending a 5% COLA, which is already within both the general fund and waterworks budgets, and which happens to match what the state has issued for its employees. And this COLA would be applied as of July 1st. And then town council has also has been hewing to a step increase pay scale system in which all employees whose performance is deemed to be satisfactory automatically receive pay increases on a preset schedule. And this ensures that employees' gained experience and good performance on behalf of the town is recognized. And as the mayor is fond of saying, the town's employees are its greatest asset, and this is a way to recognize that. And we do have capable and talented employees. So the COLA and step increases apply to all town hall employees, including police, as well as all waterworks employees. So I move to implement a 5% COLA for all town and waterworks employees as of July 1, 2024, and approve the step increases for fiscal year 2025 as appropriate.
Second on the motion, second from George. Discussion on the motion. All those in favor of the motion? Opposed?
I have to abstain on this one.
We have 5, 4, 1 abstention.
Discussion and action regarding employee continuous service recognition program. This is similar. This CSR was previously adopted by the town council to provide additional recognition to town employees. The state of West Virginia does not allow performance-based incentives such as bonuses or gifts. So this program pays each employee a set amount based on their number of years of service to the town, assuming their employment is in good standing. And this program is also already included in the budget. So I move to disperse the continuous service recognition amounts on July 1 as presented.
Second on the motion, second from Chris. Discussion on the motion. All those in favor of the motion, raise your hand. Abstain. 5, 4, 1 abstain.
Discussion and action regarding fiscal year 24 budget fund revision 6. For this burrito, I will turn it over to the finance officer.
So this revision reflects income for the end of the year based on actual receipts in as many places as possible as of the end of May. And some of the numbers in our receipts are actually completely end of year, such as municipal sales tax. Overall, this increases the budget by about $63,000 over our last revision, and a total of $123,000 or 5% greater than we projected all the way back in the beginning of fiscal 24. In the expense section, the most significant adjustments have been made for the second half of the WVU Comprehensive Plan Assistance carrying forward into fiscal 25. Appropriate increases in the Visitor Bureau 906 Arts and Humanities to offset the new room occupancy tax income projection based on the actual receipts. Updated wage projections in several departments and to remedy a wage adjustment made earlier in the year in the police department. While this increases the police department's budget over the last revision, the new projection is over $20,000 less than was originally projected at the beginning of fiscal 24. So overall, that whole department came in well under budget. And finally, the building maintenance for the post office HVAC system has been added along with the cost to upgrade the town network in City Hall. Any questions on what I said?
I move to approve revision 6 to the fiscal year 25 general fund as presented.
Second on the motion, second from Nina. Discussion on the motion. Okay, I will call roll as you call your name. If you support the agenda item, say yes or yay. And if you're opposed to it, no or nay. Zach?
Yes.
Storm?
Yes.
George?
Yeah,
Chris?
Yes.
Nina?
Yes.
Myself, yes.
Discussion and action regarding opioid settlement monies for authorized spending. I think, Nina, did you already cover that?
Yeah, just I covered it in my announcement at the beginning. I'll provide a further update when we're ready to actually distribute funds.
Thank you, Nina.
Discussion and action regarding bid for, did I not? No, that's right. Discussion and action regarding bid for radio read meter vendor selection. This is just an update only, and it comes from the Public Works Administrator. So an inventory of the current meters has been completed. Estimate of work beyond, and it includes estimates of work beyond just swapping meters, which could include meters along the mains for leak detection. So the scope of the proposal in the spec sheet has gone to the contractor GD&F, and there will be a discussion of how the proposal should be written out. And next will be developing what is called Schedule B budget. And there is a request of the governor's office to provide a match, which could mean that it would be 100% funded with no additional funds provided by the town, but that is not a done deal at this point. So that's just where we are. And let me make sure we might need to grab anything from further down now with that.
We go to Appalachian. No, we go to maintenance and mains.
Yes,
Just sorry, just point of clarification. There's no action on that today.
correct.
Okay.
And in fact, maintenance of mains, we're not ready for that either. We're
Okay.
going to push that to Wednesday,
Okay.
probably. So now, yes, we go to discussion and action regarding fiscal year 24 Waterworks budget revision 4. Finance officer, if you can walk us through that.
All right, in the income section, the significant impact that you see just comes from a new tap in the system, as well as the renew and replace funds that have been placed in the actual line there, as denoted on the renew and replace line. And that was used for the microplace leak that the mayor brought up earlier in the discussion in the meeting. In the expense sections, in addition to final billings for accounting and legal expenses associated with the rate increase, process of filing with the PSC, et cetera, for the WDA construction project as well. The more significant, there's some expenses added in there. More significant adjustments were made to accommodate the new staffing plan for the water plant due to the recent changes there. These are reflected in accrued leave, plant salaries, and plant maintenance contracted services. Other than that, there are small adjustments that have been made to take us through to the end of the fiscal year throughout the budget. The overall increase to the budget is just under $4,000, and with the small change of adding that tap, we actually lowered our loss by just a smidgen. So
By what?
by just a smidgen.
A smidgen. Okay.
Slightly more than an iron.
Yes. Any questions? Was that clear?
I move to approve the fiscal year 24 Waterworks budget revision 4 as presented.
Second on the motion, second from Zach. Discussion on the motion. Roll call. Zach,
Yes.
Storm,
Yes.
George.
Yeah.
Chris,
Yes.
Nina,
Yes.
myself, yes.
Discussion and action regarding Appalachian Chamber Music Festival fiscal year 25 funding. This funding was previously approved by this town council. It will help support a concert in town that will be free to the public. A special note, this year the concert will include a new commission piece inspired by the Niagara movement, which met here in Harpers Ferry on the campus of Storer College in 1906. The ACMF also conducts its own fundraising and has received funds from other organizations, which is one of the metrics that we use when approving budget requests. I move to approve for disbursement $2,800 to the Appalachian Chamber Music Festival out of 906 Arts and Humanities for fiscal year 25, upon submission to the town of the appropriate documentation.
Second on the motion, second from Zach. Discussion on the motion to approve. All those in favor of the motion? Unanimous.
Discussion and action regarding surge protectors on all HVAC units at town hall and water plants. It is believed that a power surge was responsible for knocking out the post office HVAC unit, and a surge protector is being installed along with the replacement unit in order to protect the town's investment. Budget and Finance determined it would also be prudent to install surge protectors on the other 4 units at town hall. The post office surge protector installed cost was $500, and the amount in the funding request should be enough for all of the remaining units plus a cushion in case of unforeseen difficulties during installation. I move to spend up to $2,500 out of 440 City Hall building maintenance for fiscal year 25 to contract with Shenandoah Air Conditioning and Heating to equip town hall's remaining HVAC units with surge protectors.
Second on the motion, second from George. Discussion on the motion. All those in favor of the motion? Unanimous. Thank you, Storm.
Good job.
Debbie?
All right, so council in there, this evening's financials are for the end of April 2024, approximately 83% of the fiscal year. In the general fund, we're looking at revision 4. Operating income is approximately 90% of budgeted, and expenses are about 91. So your revision 5 is going to make some adjustments for that. In waterworks, you're looking at revision 3. Water billing income is approximately 84%, and expenses 80%, with a loss showing of 36,000. Any questions?
I move to approve the April 2024 financial reports as presented.
Second on the motion, second from Nina. Discussion on the motion. All those in favor of the motion? Unanimous.
And then your checks for approval are here on the table. They do include the county bill and some of those other items we talked about, along with some IT billings that had to do with extra maintenance required for the network that we will have discussion about at the end of this meeting.
Deb, can you clarify or remind me maybe of the Scott Merriman, what that is?
Those are parking meter booklets to make the tickets for the parking metering.
Okay.
The price went up significantly, so if we buy them in bulk, it helps us save money. Yeah, so we bought a bigger amount, and so this is the mayor and I approved the purchase, but this is your final approval on the actual for the procedure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I move to approve the invoices and purchases as presented.
Second on the motion, second from Chris. Discussion on the motion. All those in favor of the motion? Unanimous. Thank you, Debbie. Police Department.
Good Good evening, Mayor and Council. Any concerns with the monthly report? I also would just like to address a couple things with you. There was an incident that occurred, assault in the county. And I just put a brief statement together for the council because there was a lot of false information put out there with the Facebook and other aspects of media. So there was an assault that occurred on May 28th, which was a Tuesday. This was just outside the town, between the Bolivar and county jurisdiction. Jefferson County Sheriff's Office responded to that. It was a victim that was flown out to Iowa, Fairfax. A short pursuit right after that, and there was an accident where the suspect was also apprehended, and he was also flown out to Iowa in Virginia, Fairfax as well. So I would ask that if there's any questions or concerns, that you would forward those to the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department. It's an ongoing investigation. There's not much information out there due to the investigation part of it that they're trying to close out. But I just wanted to make the corporation of our know that things are well in our town. Safe. I'd suggest if you see something out of the ordinary, that you say something. Report it. Anything that you think that's suspect that needs to be reported. And I ask that you don't call the office, that you would contact the Jefferson County Communications, so it's documented, and they will dispatch an officer out. Of course, their emergency number is 911. Their non-emergency number is 304-725-8484. That is the best way to deter these type of things. Like I said, if you see something that looks unusual, someone that's out of place or just moving around, and you just want us to check on it, we ask that you contact us so we can look on our end of our spread. Any other questions, concerns about that? If I may go on to the next item, we've also applied for grants for our department. One of the grants are OpsFast grant. We've started the process with budget, and Nina and Melissa started on with moving forward with that grant and asking for assistance for 2 officers. We'll have up to 2 years to try to get that filled, but it's an overall 5-year program that we'll be working with time to fill before you take over things. And I also would like to just close out with the officers that brought to my attention about pension options for retirement, early retirement for them, so they're not so overworking. I will be putting something together for budget finance to sit down and discuss with them so they can present it to the council and mayor.
Great.
Yeah, let me just say that on a pension change, there would be a significant cost for the officer, and that is borne by the officer, not by the town. And it just affords the officer an opportunity to retire before he's doing investigations in a wheelchair, and he has the color of hair of mine, so they can retire now. I mean, if we approve, and this goes into effect, the retirement age is 52. There's
It'll be 55.
55, yeah. So, okay. Any questions for the chief? Okay, well done, John. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
Okay, you have your ORC report. Water Department, Steve. Okay, just statistics on production last month. Filled for 3.1 3.1 million gallons. We filtered about 6.8, of which we consumed about 500,000. So 6.2 million is what I'm looking at in terms of what we pumped up to the tanks. Gave us an unaccounted water percentage of 49%. It's about 10%, 12% higher than last month. We did have a significant leak over on 19 Market Place. The mayor's already discussed and mentioned that. That was brought to our attention probably, I'd say like about a week before the Memorial Day weekend. We were keeping an eye on it because we had actually repaired leaks at that exact same spot. I think 3 other times our guys had been to repair, to basically put a collar on that leak. It let go on Friday going into the Memorial Day. And by the time we had a full appreciation of what was going on in the middle of the Memorial Day weekend, we talked to Deb about getting Greenridge in. Greenridge was on site on Tuesday morning following the holiday. They had the leak. Actually, it was a service line from our to the customer's meter, and they had the service line dug out and just replaced the whole thing, rather put a patch on it. And that was done by Wednesday morning. Stopping the hemorrhaging at that point. But it was well beyond the scope of the equipment we have, and quite honestly, the number of guys we can throw at it. So we had that, and then we were dealing with. We've been working on scheduling issues. We got 2 of our employees who are standing for the Class 2 operator test in July. So that's where it's complicating our decision-making process a little bit in terms of what's due to fill the vacancy, which is a Class 2 operator vacancy. But hopefully, we'll have one of our own who will pass the test and then we backfill that position. But we don't know. We can't count on that. We have put out the consumer confidence report. Everybody should have received that with their water bill. That is a requirement. It has to go out. It has to be in the customer's hands by July 1st. So we did get that out with the bills that went out this month in June. There is a piece in that, a little bit of information in that about PFAS. That was, we asked the Water Commission to contribute that component of the report. I can say that the PFAS testing, bring up to speed on some of that. So the EPA decided upon the regulations. Those promulgated through the West Virginia Department of Health. The next step for the West Virginia Department of Health with all this is to sample not the raw water. It's what we've had sampled in the year 2022, I think. But now to take a sample of the finished water. Our finished water was drawn for testing last week. And we don't probably expect results until sometime in the fall when I'm going to assume that they will publish the results the same way they did with all the raw water, publish everything together after they've done all the testing. They again have, because of the complexity of the sampling at this point, they have contracted with the U.S. Geological Survey to draw those samples. And then the West Ridge, we have begun to look into how we can try to quantify
some of the leaks that we know are, that we suspect are out there. And we have begun to do some of that. And that will feed into, we'll be able to talk a little bit more about that. On Wednesday, we'll talk about the services contract. But that will help us hopefully direct those folks or what we do first with the WDA contracting. And then one other thing is an event on this coming up on June the 14th at 1 p.m. at the Harvest Ferry Boulevard Library. This is a Clean Water for All mural unveiling event. There's going to be a water pollution ripple lecture and panel discussion. The executive director from Potomac Valley Audubon Society. It does 4th grade watershed training for Jefferson County, Berkeley County. I want to say Morgan County. Yours truly is going to sit on a panel. Well, we've got somebody from West Virginia Rivers, but it's really promoting the concept of safe and clean drinking water. The mural is traveling state, and it will be at here in town at the Harvest Ferry Boulevard Library from June the 10th to July the 10th. So you're welcome. Encourage everybody to attend that. Along those lines, we did submit our source water protection plan that we submitted. The end of last month was the final deadline here. That has been submitted. The state's been notified that that's been completed. Any questions?
Any questions for Steve? Hearing none. Thank you, Steve. Thank you. Okay. So nothing from the Water Commission. Landmarks, George?
Landmarks, I have a question here. Our item 2, I believe, is the same as the item on the special meeting.
Correct.
How are we handling this?
So we could just postpone this to the special, because Deb had received some information.
I have some, but it's not complete.
Pardon me?
I have some information that is not complete, and off the top of the landmarks might want to do that anyway. So I'd rather not.
Okay.
We had to have the agenda in by 5, so we put it on that. Just in case.
Okay. Well, I would like, I don't know if I should give this report. Since the person from the Innovative Community Solutions is here, is waiting patiently, I'd like to open this item number 2 up to have her comments if she feels. So it's just at the last moment, we put this off for 2 days to a special town meeting at 5 o'clock.
6 o'clock. We didn't put it off. We just added it to that agenda.
We added to that agenda because we're going to have more complete information at that time. Did you want to speak to the town council now? Well, please. That's
I mean, what's don't confuse the mayor.
So I haven't stated.
Okay, what is
represents Innovative Community Solutions, who is spearheading the effort for the Weaver House appraisal.
I didn't understand that part of it.
So I didn't articulate that.
Go ahead and take the podium for 2 minutes. Is that okay? 2 or 3 minutes at most? Thank you so much for coming this evening.
Thank you.
I guess just to kind of give everybody the overview. We were applying for a survey and planning grant for the Weaver Listen House. We could apply directly, or at the end of the year, SHPO had additional money and we could apply with a partner. So the Harvest Ferry Historic Landmarks was our certified local government partner. We had an agreement that we would go forward afterwards. There was more information and details needed. I think we complied with all of the lawyers' requests. So I didn't know what this meeting was about. We have provided the property owner consent, the scope of our partnership, as well as proof of verification of funds, the award letter from the SHPO, and I had a certified check with you to establish an escrow for the town to pay the contractor. So I think number 4 was the escrow, and our public fund. You all have it in fund.
Sure. So for the council's information, we met, the HLC met with our town attorney and we articulated items that needed to be satisfied to do things properly. And she just mentioned permission of owner, et cetera, all three. On the fourth one, Mr. Sayer rendered opinion, but did not articulate who signs what line for the escrow funds. And I believe Deb has been in contact with him and is going to receive the full information to enable us to properly, legally accept an escrow.
So.
Go ahead, Debbie.
Just very good.
Talk with Shippo, and all grants, grants monies can be distributed in different fashions and with different conditions. And so I did not know how this one would unfold. So I've spoken with the ladies at Shippo today, and I have their opinion of how they believe it can unfold and where different monies should be put and where it should come from. I need to run that through Mr. Sayer. He did not have time today, so I will have that information by Wednesday and be able to inform the council as to how all those financial pieces should be placed together to facilitate this moving forward, and then council can make a decision on it.
That's been the whole lot.
And in general, it sounds like what is happening is historic landmarks and town council, or the town behind it is pass-through entity to sponsor to facilitate this project.
In general terms, that's accurate.
I know there's a lot more to it, but just sort of in the top
general
line,
terms,
what is happening
true.
here.
So we're gonna take this up again on Wednesday, and just hold on to the check, or you can endorse it to me.
Oh, no. And if I could just generally give you an update, the direction we're going. So after we do the survey and planning, structural assessment and the boundary survey. Then we will understand which way we can go with the house. I was part of another project with the Federal Reserve Bank. They'll be coming this month to highlight the project. We did an article for the Federal Reserve Bank Richmond. So we'll be in town June 18th doing that, and I will send an invitation to the town if you want to be part of the interview. I was hoping you would have an answer so that you would know what you want to say and how you support the project, but I will still send that interview. And that's it.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, one more thing. We were also approved for, not approved, for the first step of 3 for a 2025 earmark for the Beaver Hills House in the federal government.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you for all the work you're doing.
Thanks for your attention. Okay, that would be that.
Okay, thank you, George. Planning commission, Zach?
Sure. Planning Commission did not have our regularly scheduled this is June, so May meeting due to a scheduling conflict. We had a special meeting that sort of took that place. Discussed a number of things, including the comprehensive plan update with our WPU representative. I want to extend special thanks to Superintendent Gossett and Andrew Lee, who also attended that meeting and gave great input. We also heard one new request for a lot line adjustment, which is different from the one we approved last time. Planning Commission determined that could not follow the same shortened path as the previous one did, because the request involves a non-conforming lot. So we'll be discussing that again at a future meeting, likely our next meeting, at length. And there's also one other thing, didn't put it as an agenda item here. There was a motion from a Planning Commission member to get a copy of Hal Brown map available in this room. We have the originals on the other side of this wall. There's a copy that Roberta got from the county here, which I think this might suffice if we just keep this in the closet and can roll it out when we discuss it. We've had to reference this a number of times in recent meetings. I think the motion from planning was to have a version framed in here, but either way, I think we'll work with this one for now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Chris.
Zach, I think the county mapping office gives those out.
Yeah, I think that's where Roberta got it. She's
Yeah.
been away. I was gonna
Yeah,
tag up with her.
I have one at home that she gave me.
Yeah, it's amazing how many times we've referenced it in the last few meetings. And that's the Planning Commission report. There's one other item. We move on to G2, discussion action on appointment of Planning Commission member to the Dark Sky Committee. this was tasked, I think, for town council a couple meetings ago. A majority of the planning commission nominated myself for that position, and then also nominated Jesse Milton as an alternate for town council consideration.
I nominate Zach Morris to serve on the Dark Skies Committee.
Any other nominations?
I would like to amend that to include Jesse Melton as the alternate.
We have to,
Yeah, we have to, it has
we have to handle one at a time. Yeah.
well, you
But-
nominated another person.
Spoken in the same breath. Tell us.
My interpretation was that the alternate wasn't to serve as an alternate on the committee, but to give two names for consideration here tonight. So I just want to clarify that we're not nominating an individual and an alternate. I'm just providing two options from the planning commission.
And we already have, out of those two options, we already have one nomination on the floor.
I
Are there-
second that.
There's no second. Are there other nominations?
I'll nominate Jesse Milton.
Okay.
In case.
All right, so we're gonna handle the first nomination first. I'll call roll. Zach,
Yes.
Storm,
Yes.
George.
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Nina,
Yes.
me, yes. Congratulations, Zach. There's no, now we do not go to Jesse because the position is filled. ORC, George, are you handling all this or?
Not all of it.
Okay,
I'm handling the general report, and then Roberta had requested that Chris handle the ordinance for the terminologies, the two of them. So in general terms, we discussed the two ordinances for changes for structure and short-term rental. But we also discussed the revision to ordinance 130. There's a great difference of opinion. We're still working through that. And we've also discussed the matter of the processes of commission appointments. And we're trying to wade through that.
Sorry, what's 130?
130 is removal
Removal
of a
from
commission or committee member by council. We, I believe, we are in need of talking to Ken Sayer about the processes for trying to get you had requested a unified process. We needed to speak with Ken Sayer about that, and we're awaiting contact for that. We're due to meet again.
We decided that at our next meeting, we would hash through the question.
We hash through the
Give
questions,
to the
yes.
mayor to present to.
Right,
Ken
and our next
Sayer.
meeting is in
Well, we haven't
July.
heard back from her, but maybe July 2nd.
That's what I saw on the email, in July. Okay? So it's to you, sir.
Okay, we have two draft ordinances. The first one to go through is the second reading on ordinance 2024-02, which is the definition of structure. And I know there was some confusion on this last month, partly because we had two different drafts before us, and we were kind of voting on different things. But I think I can kind of clarify that tonight, and I believe that the differences between those two drafts were minor enough that it should not hold us up. But if anyone disagrees with that, we can discuss that tonight. On the definition of structure, the background on this was that BZA requested us to clarify non-permanent structures. And we found that that was vaguely defined in Ordinance 1302, the definition of structure. However, there was still a little bit of lack of clarity. So we had some extensive discussions with BZA members and looked at some other jurisdictions, and we came up with this. Now, to clarify what we looked at last month, the only difference between the two drafts that we looked at, on line 15, we dropped, no, I'm sorry, on the draft you're looking at, it's 13. We dropped a capital U for use. On line 17, a structure does not include, we struck the existing definition that says a structure does not include such things as garden ornaments or other. We struck that and made it to read, a structure does not include non-permanent objects or mechanical systems. And then in parentheses, some of us last month had in the draft HVAC. Others had HVAC equipment, comma, fuel tanks, comma, pool equipment, comma, etc. I think we would like to include all of those in this second reading.
In the parentheticals, yes, that's true.
And then we also added to the present definition, non-permanent objects are not generally attached to the ground and may include, but not be limited to, lawn furniture, picnic tables, grills, planters, bird baths, and small pet shelters. And any questions about that, or just,
That last one, was that in the last draft or was it added since the first reading?
it's my understanding that that was in both of the drafts that
Yes.
we covered.
The change was actually, the difference was only in the parenthetical of HVAC equipment and fuel tanks, et cetera.
And that one capital letter.
Gotcha.
And then the one capital letter.
So no material change in the meaning or direction.
Exactly.
Chris or George, was this a unanimous ORC position?
Working on it.
And we had good discussions with BZA. I think we all came to a consensus on
Okay,
this.
all right, take it from here.
So I move to approve the second and final reading of ordinance 2024-02, the definition of structure.
We'll take a second on the motion. George? Thank you. Discussion on the motion. All those in favor of the motion?
Quick
Yeah.
question. Well, yes. Do we actually read it for the second reading? After we've for the one we just did at the beginning of the meeting, we read the title and then voted. So I didn't know if this is this.
I need to read it.
Just the title, just the
Oh,
top,
okay.
the top part.
An ordinance of the Corporation of Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, amending the Code of Ordinances of Harpers Ferry, Part 13, Project and Zoning Code, Article 1302, Words, Terms, and Phrases, amending and adopting revised definition for structure, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict therewith, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Next, who's got the next one?
We
Okay.
didn't vote.
We did.
Did
We
we
did
vote?
not vote.
Was it or not?
No, we didn't.
I guess we didn't vote after the reading. Should we do
We
that?
didn't vote after the reading. We voted before the reading.
Oh,
No,
We didn't
no,
vote
we didn't
before the
technically. We didn't vote. We didn't call it.
Yes, we did. But we're gonna vote again. All those in favor of the, raise your hand. Unanimous. See, same result.
Excellent.
Okay. All right, who's got this one?
Yeah, the second one is the first reading on a definition for short-term rental. We're doing a couple of things here. We had a request from the OCO office from the office about to clarify short-term rental so that it would not be confused with possible property owners that might want to have pool parties and special events at their homes or their properties. And so we did a couple of things. First off, we changed the present definition for short-term rental from dwelling unit to house or dwelling unit. And we changed for transient occupancy to overnight occupancy. The tenancy of 30 days or less, by the way, is part of state code that has been retained. And then this last part is a little bit confusing to some folks, but the present definition said excluding a motel, hotel, rooming house, boarding house, or bed and breakfast inns. And I think that those were originally included because someone had special definitions for those things. We presently do not have 3 of them defined: motels, boarding houses, and rooming houses. We did not feel it was necessary to maintain those in the definition. We don't think that there's much chance in the 21st century of anyone applying to open a boarding house or a rooming house. And motel is really covered under hotel's definition. We do feel it's important to retain bed and breakfast inns. There has been historically a definition in our town ordinances of bed and breakfast as being owner occupied, as opposed to rentals that are not owner occupied. State law has made that discrepancy moot, really, for us. So we are proposing that we end this definition by saying including bed and breakfast, but not hotels, which are elsewise defined. I can tell you, Roberta felt strongly we should say also or motels. I personally feel it would be better to exclude that because we're not defining motels elsewhere. So, not sure how to handle that disagreement, but I'm not also.
Just clear, where are the definitions of hotel in our ordinance?
In 1302.
So they obviously define.
They're all, yeah.
And the motel, that verbiage is not in there. So
Motel is not defined, but a motel would basically be covered by our definition for hotel.
Yeah.
Are vacation rentals and hostels defined as well? I ask because those are mentioned in 1311.02 about short-term rentals for permitted uses.
That's a good question. I don't know for sure right off.
Okay.
They were not mentioned in the existing definition.
Your question was about vacation rentals.
Well, if this has changed, like if there's a definition of short-term rental, then that needs to be applied to other ordinances. And in 1311.02, uses allowed permitted uses, it references short-term rentals, so this might be in conflict.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, Storm, that vacation rentals is not otherwise defined.
Yeah.
Hostels, I'm less sure of.
Well,
Hostels is defined?
I think it is.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
But short, vacation rental, that's not meant for which we call it, and it's kind of a brand versus need a big change as a good market.
and really a vacation rental is one of the main uses of a short-term rental. It's it seems to be included in this very naturally.
Well, it's certainly not excluded. If it says including bed and breakfasts, but not hotels and motels, does leave room for other things. True.
Well, the include and exclude are very specific. The item that you're referring to fits very neatly within the overnight occupancy of 30 days or less.
Well, it's an issue if it is true that this is a complete list. Is it, which way is it? Is it that saying including bed and breakfast means that's the only thing that could be considered a short-term rental, but not hotels or motels?
I see you're looking for language that says including but not limited to. Is that the crux of your?
Well, my reading is that it doesn't limit it. It would say, which is bed and breakfast inns, but not hotels and motels.
So what you're saying is if for it to be including vacation rentals, it ought to say including but not limited to bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
And that would solve the issue that you're pointing to.
It would.
Okay.
Well, or instead of specifically mentioning bed and breakfast, just to say you have a definition, but not hotels or motels.
Right.
That way, anything that fits that criteria is a short-term rental.
I'm looking at the list right now, Storm. Vacation rentals is not included in definitions, and I rather agree with George that vacation rentals would be one special name or an alternate name for
short-term rental.
So I don't believe it would need to be defined. Now, hostels, we could certainly add that to the list, if it's otherwise defined.
Zach, not to interrupt him.
Yeah, hostel right now says a single family dwelling that provides inexpensive shared lodging, breakfast, and sanitary accommodations for supervised short-term stays, typically for hikers and bikers.
Well, let me get to Zach first and then,
Sure.
Go ahead, Zach.
This sounds, I think we're working out the details and it sounds good overall. And I don't want to overcomplicate this, but I'm also potentially hearing a conflict, or maybe it's my own understanding, between the term single family dwelling, which to me implies used by a single family unit. And a vacation or short-term rental can be the same thing, except when they are rented to multiple families simultaneously, which pushes it more towards the boarding house or bed and breakfast, which it sounds like we're dropping from this. I just want to make sure that we're clear and we cover all of these bases. I don't know how municipal, I don't know how if it makes a real difference. I know we have both instances.
Well, in my understanding, and George can jump in here if he has anything to add or disagree. We are including bed and breakfast as one special type of short-term rental because it is otherwise defined, and we could certainly add hostels as well to that as another type of short-term rental, which is otherwise defined.
Is a hostel defined as a short-term rental, or would a hostel be under the same bucket as hotels and motels?
According to our definition here, as proposed, a hostel would be a short-term rental.
Okay.
Yeah, I really feel that either adding the language you suggested, including but not limited to, or striking that would basically mean we wouldn't have to deal with defining everything. If it looks like a duck, talks like a duck, if that satisfies what the ordinance control officer is looking for guidance.
So how does this sound to everyone? By tenants for a tenancy of 30 days or less, including bed and breakfast inns and hostels, but not hotels.
It still leaves out the other one that's mentioned in
Not,
Vacation.
not,
1311
Which is what?
vacation rentals. So for it to harmonize with 1311.02,
I see.
vacation rentals would also need to be in that list.
included.
Well, we were taking the position that it is an alternative name for a short-term rental. You're taking the position that it's prominent enough in our ordinance that it should be mentioned specifically.
Yes,
being
and that it was said
that
that this is an inclusive list and anything not on the list is not counted.
Yeah, I think I agree with Storm, because my only worry is that someone could use that as a loophole, oh, this is a vacation rental, not a.
So
short-term
your
vacation.
proposal would be bed and breakfast, comma, hostels, comma,
Vacation,
vacation rentals,
but not.
Comma, but not.
but not
hotels.
hotels.
And I would suggest striking or motels.
I would
because-
suggest striking or motels also.
Yeah, exactly.
To completely harmonize with 1311, do we need to specify single family vacation rental? Since it's the first words in there, or is it just?
We hashed out, pardon me if I'm jumping
Well,
in
looking
here,
at number
a-
2, which is just dealing with short-term.
a house or dwelling unit. And
Okay,
That's a separate
okay,
permit.
that's me reading over your shoulder. Sounds good.
Okay,
All right, where are we?
so here's what I'm understanding where we are. The short-term rentals definition would say the use of a house or dwelling unit offered for rent or overnight occupancy by tenants for a tenancy of 30 days or less, including bed and breakfast inns, comma, vacation rentals, comma, and hostels, comma, but not hotels, period.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
with
make a
that
motion.
editing, and Nina, are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. And so I move to approve, for first reading, ordinance 2024-03, an ordinance of the Corporation of Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, amending the Code of Ordinances of Harpers Ferry, Part 13, Project and Zoning Code, Article 1302, words, terms, and phrases, amending and adopting revised definition for short-term rental, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict therewith, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
There's a second on the first read, Storm.
Before the second, a request that as part of the motion to read the edited version.
Yes.
Again,
Okay. Short-term rental, the use of a house or dwelling unit offered for rent or overnight occupancy by tenants for a tenancy of 30 days or less, comma, including bed and breakfast inns, comma, vacation rentals, comma, and hostels, comma, but not hotels.
Second, thank you. Second from Storm. Discussion on the first. Nina.
Just to clarify how I can make this motion, can I include the title and then just include with the correction and then type out the paragraph of the correction in the motion so that we are all clear on how that reads?
Yeah, I don't think there's an objection to going in that direction.
Make sure my phrase
Yeah.
is okay.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion? Unanimous. Thank you, Chris and George. IOC, Nina?
Okay, so for our general report, we met earlier this month just to discuss the job posting for the open water works positions. I'm meeting later this week or early next week to sort of finalize. We were assisting with narrowing down current sort of job summary so that we can distribute that out when we're requesting people to apply for the position. And then we will continue to move forward with the website and town logo project, which were the next two items or discussion on. So I'll just kind of move through those. So for the town logo project, the next steps are we'll be providing some assets to the to Wicked Design for their review and consideration to make logos. They'll come to us with a few different examples. And similar to how the comprehensive plan had their open house, we'll be doing something similar with some fonts and color schemes and logo designs. The idea is kind of how we hosted here, lay out our options on the table, people can walk around and provide feedback. And then we'll take that back to the design company to kind of finalize the design. And we should hopefully have some results within, I'd say, the next 6 weeks or so regarding that kind of as the process moves forward. IOC will be meeting weekly to kind of keep the process going with a short touch point with the company to make sure that we're making the progress that we need. So we'll continue to update you guys as we go through that and as we sort of finalize the dates and the next steps. And then for the website, we're doing a similar sort of process. We're setting up a weekly touch point with the company that is managing the website. We do need the color schemes and the fonts and things like that and the logo for the website. However, there is still some data gathering and things like that that they can do in the meantime while we're finalizing that other process. And we will be setting up meetings with town staff as well so we can get their feedback. So police department, fire department, we get their feedback as to the features for the website and some ideas for the design and layout, and also be working with council members and committees and commissions as well to kind of set up streamlines and processes that might make lives a little bit easier on their end. They did inform us it'll take about 4 to 6 weeks, just given the size of our website and what we have. We are not super data heavy. So a big step of their project is they will scan our website, basically extract all of the data from it, and use that with creating sort of the first draft iteration of the website. And we'll be looking at providing assets and more things like that for the website going forward. But it's a pretty streamlined process, so I would anticipate probably by the fall we should be able to have a new website and logo and everything launched. And they are super mobile driven as well, so the website should work very well on all mobile devices. So not just on the computer, but you should be able to access all the pictures on your cell phone as well. So that's where we're at with that, and we'll keep everyone updated as we're moving through the process.
Chris.
Thanks for all the hard work on those two issues. I know it sounds like a huge jump. I was just thinking that Harpers Ferry Park Association, the Town Foundation, probably a dozen other organizations in Harpers Ferry all have logos, and I'm wondering if I can't remember their name, the company.
Yeah, Wicked Design.
If they can get all of those, mainly just so that we don't have a whole bunch of logos looking exactly alike.
That's a very good suggestion.
Yeah.
I think we should definitely provide them with some logos that we do not want.
And maybe others can think of other organizations that might have, that classic Gap logo.
Right, so we're not mimicking something people are already.
Yeah, our goal is to create something that's memorable and unique to our town that we can use and do not get us confused with anyone else. So that was a very good suggestion. I'll definitely make note of that.
You think about the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
Anything
And
else?
the Golden Gate Bridge.
And the Golden. Thank you, Nina. Board of Zoning Appeals, Chair will open up for a nomination for
I've pointed
appointment to the
on
Board
that,
of
sir,
Zoning Appeals.
and I recognize. I have a point of order on that.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. It's my understanding that we have one name to go forward. And my point of order is that we have a residency requirement. This is going to sound terribly nitpicking and painful, but it happened to me early, 2 years back. We are about 2 or 3 weeks shy of a full loaf on this appointment for 3 years. I would like to recommend that we all do apologies, not set a bad precedent, and put this off until our July meeting, because the sole applicant here is shy of 3 years by about 2 or 3 weeks, if I'm got my information correct. And I know that's niddly, but it's a precedent we don't want to set. That's my point of order.
Patty, do you know the,
You have to be a resident for 3 years for the qualifications.
any of you been a resident for 3 years?
No, I will be asking July first. So I'm talking to the council to appoint me to my date that unless it's July first, go tonight.
It was my experience that I was not allowed to consider until I had satisfied the residency requirement for planning. That was Kevin Carden came out with that. So that's the point of mine.
Okay, any other council positions?
I'd like to make a motion then.
There's no motion.
Okay.
Well, we did put it down as discussion and action. Does that allow for a motion? We did not put it down, it's just a nomination.
Yeah, we had discussion and action.
Yeah, but when we make appointments, it's done through nominations, not,
I know we have a
Motion
conundrum here. We
second.
do have discussion and action. And
well, we can have a discussion. That's what I just asked. Are there any other points of view from the council? Chris?
Yeah, I've never, faced with, it's such a short-term period, but it would make sense to me to, nominate the applicant, effective July 1st.
Does the ordinance say that one cannot serve or that one cannot be nominated?
I believe it's nomination.
I don't know. I don't have it in front of me.
Do you know what?
It is, one. Let me see.
The new website should have the ordinances as easily accessible as the current one.
Yeah, let's see, I can find it pretty quick here.
It's not in my papers.
It's Article 134. Membership. The members of the board shall be residents of the town for at least 3 years preceding his or her appointment.
So-
Cannot be a member of the planning.
So we can't be, we
So we
can't
can't consider
can't.
until July 1st.
until July 1st.
So we just have to postpone it until July.
Okay.
The ones that align with-
Is there opposing point of view?
And then another interpretation of it.
Do we need a motion to put
Yep.
that on the next?
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, you can.
I make a motion to postpone item JI until our July.
Second on the motion. Second from the discussion on the motion. All those in favor of the motion? Opposed? Abstained. Passes 4-1, one abstention. Okay. All right, where are we? We're on unfinished business, is that correct? Yep. Okay, update if any on Henry Clay, the fuel oil spill. Well, the only information that I have, the latest information I have is from Brad Wright at DEP. I've had a couple conversations with him. The DEP evidently sent a groundwater specialist, a team of specialists to the site. They have not, my contact has not received any information regarding the results of the water specialist on site. My contact also indicated that there seems to be some positive improvements in communications between the oil company attorneys and DEP attorneys. there have been a lot of bantering back and forth between attorneys for well over a month, maybe even into 2 months. And the DEP investigator basically said that they think that there have been some positive improvements in those communications. He also stated that right now, the mitigation of the property seems to focus on either A, demolition, and then mitigating the soil at the demolition site, or B, jacking up the structure, mitigating the site underneath the structure, and lowering the structure. Those are the only two options.
Wow.
And both of those options are incredibly costly. So you can see why the attorneys are heavily engaged in this. As soon as I get, I should have had additional information as of Wednesday of last week. It did not come in. But when it comes in, I will send it to you under confidential cover, okay? And then I will share that publicly at the next council meeting. So that's the best I can do for you right there.
Did you mention lifting the house with a helicopter or?
Yeah. Bring in the Corps of Engineers.
Lord in heaven.
The next two agenda items, if you recall, this is the home consortium that Patty and I have been working on with Berkeley County, Jefferson County, and Morgan County, Patty, and Morgan County. And if you recall at the last meeting, when you've read the requirements and what the expectations were for municipalities, one of the things came up is that we would have had to appoint 3 members to a committee, and then they would be going to Berkeley and having meetings and all that sort of stuff. So we put it on, we deferred it today. I did get some good, positive additional information from the executive director. There are no requirements for us whatsoever. There's no appointments, there's no meetings to attend, there's no money for the town to give. It is to their benefit to have Harper's Ferry listed just as a partner, okay? So I am suggesting that on both of these agenda items, you approve both of them, and then we will be put in on that list, and because this is important when they go to the state, that they have all of these people, even though Berkeley County will be doing 99.9% of the pulling on this.
So we're here going, yeah.
Yes,
Go for it.
exactly. We urge them on. So
Berkeley.
I will, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, I have a motion.
Okay, go ahead.
You want me to read the motion? Move to approve a resolution for the Corporation of Harpers Ferry authorizing participation in the Eastern Panhandle Home Consortium of West Virginia for a period of 7/1/24 to 6/30/27.
Second on the motion, second Chris, discussion on the motion. All those in favor of the motion, unanimous. Second one?
Yeah, and then move to approve a cooperative agreement, housing consortium, move to approve the cooperative agreement, housing consortium cooperative agreement by and between the city of Martinsburg and the counties of Berkeley, Jefferson, and Morgan, West Virginia, and the Corporation of Harpers Ferry for a period of 7/1/24 to 6/30/27.
Second on the motion, second Storm, discussion on the motion. All those in favor of the motion, unanimous. Okay, if we now turn to agenda item 6A, correction 5A, Roman numeral 4, discussion action regarding town and waterworks computer network and system grades. Based upon exemptions in West Virginia Code 698-4, the chair is recommending we go into executive session regarding discussion of developing security personnel or devices. Is that correct, Debbie? I believe that's it. Second, we have a motion to go into executive session. We have a second from George. Discussion on the motion.
Zach, an exemption for anyone else to join us, or is it just the council?
Just the council. I assume. and with the exception of the planning thoughts. All those in favor of the motion to go in, it passes unanimous.
And
And then you peek at the doors. Let the
Oh,
crowd out.
And anyone who took their microphone off and muted it might want to put their microphone back on for the final.
Oh, you know what?
Wow.
Charge time.
I move to spend up to $10,000 from 440 City Hall contracted services to have Advantage Technologies upgrade the town's network via virtual precepted network and to migrate the waterworks billing and customer service software to a temporary means.
Second on the motion, second from me, discussion on the motion. All those in favor of the motion? Unanimous.
Motion to adjourn.
Second, motion to second from George, all those unanimous. We are adjourned at 9:33.